Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with the next update for my project Level Up. If you're new to this project, this is a project I created 2 years ago now, where it's a little bit of a mix between Pan Those Eyeshadows, no pan left behind, and also just getting use out of your palettes as a whole. So I wanted to create this project because I have been doing Pan Those Eyeshadows for a long time, and I love that project still. I still do it on my channel, and I really do love that. But I felt like I didn't know my palette as a whole, and that's something that I really tried to get better at in the last couple of years. So I created this project where I roll in a palette and I want to use the whole palette. So basically there's two parts of this project. There is the pans and the usage. So for level 1, you have to hit 1 pan and use every single shade once. Level 2, use every shade twice and hit 2 pans, and so on. And I go up to level 5 before I reset the project back to level 1. You can keep going, and I know a couple of people are keeping going this year, like going past level 5. But I think I'm gonna reset the project this year again. I'm not sure yet though, but I think I will, because I have a lot of eyeshadow projects going, and it's taking up a lot of my time. So I feel like going back to level 1 makes most sense this year. Maybe next year I will venture on to continuing past level 5, but we'll see. That's something for 2025. But yeah, I just want to get more use out of my collection as a whole, and also used to get to know my palettes. That's also why I'm doing my big fat eyeshadow project this year, just because I want to get to know my palette and you see how they work as a standalone color story. Today, I'm wearing one of those looks for one of those palettes, which will be my next update, which will be in the beginning of July. Crazy to say, but yeah, beginning of July. So today I am on level 4, so I'm going to talk you through my level 4 palette. I'm going to let you know how I'm doing, if I've hit any goals yet, and all of that kind of good stuff. So before I jump into the palette, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So like I said, I am on level 4 at the moment, and the palette that I roll in for level 4 is my Merry Christmas palette from Lovelies. I'm going to roll the footage of what this one looked like last month, which is when I started working on it. It was basically completely brand new. You can see it right here. It was, I think in the footage it's brand new. After this point I had only swatched it once, but I thought I would keep the same footage because I actually hadn't used it on my eyes. So very brand new palette when I first introduced it, and this is where it is today. So you can see what it looks like today. Just a quick overview of what the palette is looking like. Yeah, I mean, you can see some obvious things already, but I will talk you through each and every shade and all of that stuff once I go through them. But yeah, this is the overview. I just said I will go through the shades once when I go through them. Obviously I will. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna start with the shade number 1. I will have the comparison up right here as well, so you can see the difference in the palette. So we're going to start with the shade Elf Wish, which is a beautiful kind of green to orange duochrome. This shade I've only used once so far. I used it in my palette bingo that I did just after rolling this palette in. So yeah, one use on that shade. Then we have the shade Matcha Cookies, which is a beautiful kind of swampy green. I love these type of tones. I've reached for that one twice. And actually the same with the rest of the shades on the top row, which is Jingle Bells and New Leaf. I used both of those twice as well. Then moving on to the second row, we have my first focus shade, and that is the shade Snowman. As you can see, I have quite a good dip going in the shadow right there. Yeah, I'm really happy with the dip. And this one I've used 10 times so far, so quite a lot. And I'm surprised I don't have pan on this one. I feel like with the shimmers in this palette, some of them are very putty-like, and some of them are more kind of firmly pressed, and this is one of the ones that are more firmly pressed. So that's also why it's taking a lot longer to pan on and a lot more uses. But I am sure this one is going to have pan on it next month. I was hoping to maybe have pan on it by this update, but I'm fine. I'm not rushing this palette. As you can already see, I haven't hit my goals because pans. But yeah, I know for a fact that this one will be able to pan on. So with this shade, I didn't want to rush it because I knew that I would have this palette in for minimum 2 months anyway. So yeah, that is Snowman. Really happy with where it is now, but no pan yet. Next to that, we have this kind of light green shade called Best Wish, and I reached for that one 3 times, so 1 more use to go. Next to that, we have the deepest green in the palette for mattes, and that is the shade Christmas Tree, which I've only used once so far. Lastly, on the second row, we have the shade New Year, which is a shimmer that I've used twice, so halfway there with the usage goal. So really happy with that. Moving on to the third row, we have another one of my focus shades that I've decided on, which is the shade Little Star right here. Again, you can see quite a big dip. It's actually quite on par with the shade Snowman. But the funny part is I've only reached for this one 4 times. So you can see this is what I mean. Like this is much more of a putty kind of formula, and this is more of one of those firm formulas. So you can see how different they are in like movement and stuff. So yeah, 4 uses on that one. I definitely will hit pan on that shade too, but again, not rushing it. So that is Little Star. Next to Little Star, we have Gingerbread, which is the first matte that I've hit my goal on. That is, yeah, I've reached for it 4 times. It's completed. I'm not going to hit pan on it because I feel like that would be way too hard. Next to that, we have the shade Blessed, which is another one that I've used 2 times. So halfway there. Same with the last shade on the third row too, called Poinsettia. Those 2 I've used twice each. So really happy with that. Moving on to the last row, we have the shade Hot Cocoa, which is another one that I've hit my goal on. That is this deep red right here. I've also reached for that one 4 times, so goal complete for that shade. Then for the 2 shades in the center, the Orange Shimmer and the Matte Black, All Right and Happy Ending. I reached for those 2 twice each, so halfway there as well with the goal. And then the last shade in the palette is the last shimmer called Santa Star, and that one I've used once. So as you can see, I still have quite a lot of work left for this palette. Again, I think because I knew this one was going to stay in for at least 2 months, I wasn't like pushing myself to reach for all the shades. So far, I think I've reached goal on 4 out of the shades when it comes to usage. I've hit goal on this shade, this shade, this shade, and this shade. So those 4, yeah, it's actually these right here. These are the 4 that I hit my goal on. Really happy with that. A lot of these I have 2 uses on, which means I'm halfway there, which also hopefully means that I will be able to hit my goal by next month. I think that's going to be my main big goal for this palette, is going to be to hit all my usage goal by next update for sure. And maybe have the pans done too. I think that I should definitely be able to have 2 pans easy. And that is obviously Snowman, I keep forgetting what the shade is called. Snowman and Little Star. Those 2 will easily have pan on. I think I'm going to hit pan on those one maybe like within a week or 2, depending on what kind of looks I do. But I'm going to try to have those out pretty fast. Then for the rest of the shades, I think I want to target either this gold here or this gold here afterwards. I love those type of golds, but yeah, I just haven't got around to them. But I also know that I have quite a few uses left on those. Santa Star use that I only have 1 use on, so who knows what it's going to look like after 4 uses. Maybe I'm going to be able to have a really, really big dip and be close to pan, because it is one of those more kind of putty-like formulas. When it comes to Jingle Bells on the top, that one has 2 uses, and it's also, it's kind of like in between. It's a little bit more putty-like, or not putty-like, it's a little bit more flaky, I guess, than Snowman. So it's moving a little bit faster, but it's not as putty-like as this one. So realistically, I think Santa Star might be the next pan after those 2. So those 2 and Santa Star, I believe. And then for the 4th shade, I really don't know. It might be Elf Wish. I only have 1 use on that, and that is, again, one of those putty-like formulas, so maybe I will be close to pan as well after 4 uses, and maybe I'll go for that one. Then we have the shade Bless, which is one of those more kind of dry formulas, so I don't think I'm going to hit pan on that one, but it is more of a unique shade, so I guess we'll just see. So I think I kind of covered my plan for this one. I'm going to hit pan on those 2 shades here, and then one of the goals, most likely Santa Star. And then for the 4th shade, I think I'm just going to wing it with what the palette looks like after 4 uses on every single shade. So that is going to be my update for this palette today. Of course, it is still staying in the project. I'm not going to roll anything else in. I don't really ever have 2 palettes rolling at the same time. I think I've done it once when I had my Viva palette in, and I did like a 30 uses goal on one of the shades, and I only had a couple shades, like a couple uses left. I think at that point I rolled in a second palette, but normally in this project I never work on 2 palettes at one point in time. So I'm going to keep working on this one, and I'm going to really try to have this one out next month, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's definitely like a bit of a harder palette because it has 16 shades and I have to use every single shade 4 times. I think the pans are not going to be too difficult, especially because the formula, like the shimmer formula in here, is amazing. I really love how these shimmers perform, how sparkly they are. So I don't think it's going to be difficult hitting pan on those. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of work, but I don't think it's going to be difficult for me. Yeah, I think the usage goal is definitely what I need to focus on next. And then once that's done, I can kind of see where the palette is at and what shades I should focus on tip pan on. So after loads of rambling about my future plans for this palette, I'm going to wrap up the video here. If you're doing this project, let me know down below. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention, but I will have the playlist where everyone has participated like over the last couple of years, and also currently in a playlist down below. It will be like everyone has done this project, all the videos. So if you want to binge this project, make sure to check it out. And if you're not in that playlist and you're doing this project, please let me know down below so that I can add you to it too. I do search for project level up quite frequently to add people into the video, but I'm sure that I could have missed someone if you like named your video differently or something like that. So in that case, just let me know. But I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.